Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Herik from 5BD English Department. Today I would like to presentations about the data analysis. Let's begin. First, about the explanations of the data analysis according to the expert. From the Lexi J. Moleong 2000s, data analysis is the process of the organizing and the sorting the data into the patterns, categories, and the basics of units of the descriptions that at terms can be found and work the hypothesis can be formulated as suggested by the data. So from the Lexi J. Moleong, we can take the conclude data analysis is the process of the organizing of the data into the pattern of the categories or the basic units of descriptions. Next, I will discuss about the two kinds of the data, but I only focus on the quantitative analysis rather than qualitative. Okay, first, quantitative analysis. Data that is numerical, counted, or the compare on a scale. So in the quantitative analysis, we can do the analysis based on the data is numerical, counts, and for example the demographic data using the answer to close the ended the survey of items, attendance of the data, scores on the standards instruments. But for the qualitative analysis is the narratives or the long the experience. We can get the we can doing the analysis by the focus on groups, interviews, open-ended the survey items, diaries of journals, notes from the observations. Okay, I only focus on the quantitative analysis. What is the quantitative analysis? Quantitative analysis is an analysis that uses the quantitative analytical tools, namely analysis that use the models such as the mathematical model, for example, multivariate functions, statistical models, and the econometrics. So, in the quantitative analysis, there are the two kinds of the statistic used to analyze in the data. Right? The first is the descriptive statistics, and the second one is the inferential statistics, include parametric and non-parametric statistics. Okay, first about the descriptive of the statistic. What is the descriptive statistic? Descriptive statistics are the statistics that are used to analyze the data by describing the data that has been collected as it without the intentions of the making generals, the conclusion or generalizations. Descriptive and statistical analysis can be divided into first about the data portrait analysis, for example in the frequency and the presentations. The second one is the data-centered trends analysis, such as or they include mean, median, and mode values. And the third one is the analysis of the variations, for example, range and the standard deviations for the variant. Okay, first about the data analysis of the portrait. Portrait data is the calculations of the frequency of the value in a variable. Values can be expressed as the absolute amounts or as the percentage of the whole. And the second one is the analysis of the data center trends. In this, the analysis is, for example, in mean, usually given the symbol x with the arithmetic means of the value of the measured variable. It is for for example, in to easier the researchers to find about the value of the average of the for example, in the populations. And the analysis of the data center, it's include the median. Median, what is median? Median is the middle value of the set of the value for a variable that has been sorted from the smallest value to the highest value. It is to make the researchers too easier to get what is the middle value in a hypothesis. And the third one is the mode. In the value that occur most frequently in distributions of the variables value. It's easier to researchers to get the what is the most the frequency about the in the ranks, for example, and others. And the third one is the value variation analysis. Value variation analysis is the conducted to see that the distributions of the value in distributions of overall value of a variable from its mean value. It means that this analysis is to see how much the value of the variable different from the other from the values. For example, we want to measurement of the value variation usually done by looking at the range of the data or the standard deviations. Okay, this is the examples of the uh, medians, and modes. For example, the researchers want to have the data 7, 8, the 9, 6, double 6, 7, 8, the 10s, 9 and 6, like in a table. We want to find the mean and median mode. The answer is mean. Mean is the we can calculate for the mean. We add all the data in the tables. After that, we divide it for the total in data. In a mode, we can look in there that there is what is the most the frequently of the variables always the occurring in data. For example, in here the most frequently occurring the data values were is the number 6 because 3 times the 6 always the most frequently occurring in data. And what is median? Median, we want to take the variables in from the data. We want to take the middles of the values in data because in data has for example in data has the medians have the times divided the 2 total is the 5. So the 5th and the 6th data are the 7 and the 8. And also the medians, the total's median, the 7 plus 8 divided 2, being the median 7.5. These are the examples of the median mode. Next, in inferential statistics. What is inferential statistics? This is the analyticals of the technique. With the inferential, the statistics are data processing the technique that allow researchers to derive the conclusion based on the result of their research of the number of the sample. For example, the larger population, we can detect the conclusions that are expected to be made usually state in the hypothesis. So in inferentials, the statistical analysis can be also called the hypothesis testing analysis because inference that are often made by education, for example, researchers can in general related to the effort of the to see the difference between mean and the correlations, both between two independent variables and between the several variables at once. Okay, the next, this is the two kinds from the inferential statistic. That is the parametric and the non-parametric statistic. What is the parametrics and non-parametric statistics? In parametric statistics, using the data analysis in front of first interval data. Interval data is the classified as the continuum the data which has the higher the level than original data because it has more the levels. Interval data so as the distance between one data and another. And the second one is the ratio data. Ratio data are data is also included in the continuum data but which have the certain of the characteristic. it is the differences between interval and ratio. For the ratio, we have the certain of the characteristic. This data has the same distance of the properties interval of the scale. However, the ratio of the scale still has the other features. First, the price ratio has the absolute zero value. Okay, for the non-parametric statistic, data analysis is divided into first one is nominal data, and the second one is the ordinal data. Nominal data is the call of the categorical or the distrust data, because this data has the sparse nature from one another's, whether the sparse consists of the two more of the far. For example, in nominal data, we want to research about males or the females, or the male is yes, or male, female is not male. And the second one of the example, the types of work can be classified in a nominal data. For example, into the civil servants, traders, doctors, farmers, laborers, and each others. And the second one is the ordinal data. What is ordinal data? Ordinal data is the points to a level or gap in a state. For example, in nominal data, show the categorical of differences. Ordinal data also has the characteristic or differences between objects that are level. For example, in a student learning achievement is classified into groups goods, sufficient, and lacking, or the measure of the person height and with height, medium, and short. Okay, this is for the explanation from the quantitative analysis, and then this is the for the qualitative data analysis. Qualitative data analysis is the inductive of the process in organizing of the data into several categories and identifying the pattern of relationship. So what is the difference between quantitative and qualitative analysis? For the quantitative analysis is the using for the mathematical tools or the item for the counts of the data, but different in qualitative. In qualitative, it is the process from the qualitative only confining the data obtained from the interview, files, note, documentations by organizing data into the categories can describing into units. So in qualitative analysis, we can choose which one the important, what will be studied, and make the conclusions to be understood by oneself and others. So in the analysis of the qualitative, the researchers usually find the concepts of the how the strategy from the obtain of the interview, fields, notes, and documentation, not using of the mathematical and not using from the counts of the sample in populations. Okay, this is the purpose of the qualitative data analysis. Differences between quantitative analysis is focused how we get the results from the process in their for example in their mathematical tools. But in qualitative, we focus the important is the process rather than the result. The finding, for example, finding the meanings of how someone give the meaning to something, whether in the form of activities, concept, statement, and others. The second one is describing and explaining of the context of the surrounding of the conditions of event, or for example, explain the actions cannot be spread from the existence of the environmental condition. The purpose of the qualitative, the first one is describe how the process occur or the take place, what the actions occur, and how these actions are carried out. And the last, it is explain the reason or the rationale why the someone does something in a certain way. So in the qualitative data analysis, we don't doing the the testing of the about the data, but we also get the find of the solutions, how the concept, how the statement with the others, what is doing the interview, take note from the observation and others. Okay, this is my explanations about the qualitative